Every winter, millions of Americans scoop a bucket of gray powder out of the fireplace and dump it in the trash. And that bucket is worth money. Wood ash is roughly a quarter calcium carbonate, the same stuff garden centers sell as lime, plus potassium, phosphorus, and trace minerals. It's free fertilizer that fell out of your chimney. But there's a catch: on the wrong plants, it does real damage. Let's start with the good part. Number 1. Replace store-bought garden lime for free. Here's the single biggest thing wood ash does, and most people have no idea. About 25% of wood ash by weight is calcium carbonate. That's not a wood ash thing. That's literally what agricultural lime is. When you buy a bag of garden lime to sweeten sour soil, you're buying ground-up limestone, which is calcium carbonate. You've been throwing the same compound in the garbage. Wood ash is roughly half as strong as commercial lime, pound for pound, so it takes about 2 pounds of ash to do the work of 1 pound of lime. But here's the thing nobody mentions. Ash has an extremely fine particle size, much finer than most bagged lime. That means it dissolves and reacts in the soil fast. Lime can take months to move the needle. Ash starts working in weeks. Now the rule. Most garden plants want a soil pH right around 6.5, slightly acidic. If your soil tests below that, ash will help. If your soil is already at 7.0 or above, ash will actively hurt you. And we'll get into exactly why later in this video. For a 1,000 square foot garden sitting around pH 6.5, most extension services cap it at about 20 pounds of ash a year. That's roughly 1 5-gallon bucket. Spread it thin, rake it into the top 2 to 4 inches, and you're done for the season. If you have sandy soil, cut that in half. Sandy soil has less buffering capacity, so the same scoop of ash swings the pH much harder. The best time to do it? Fall or early spring, a couple of weeks before anything goes in the ground. That gives the ash time to react with the soil before roots start pulling nutrients. Number 2. Free potassium for bigger blooms and better fruit. Look at any bag of fertilizer. 3 numbers, NPK. That K is potassium, and potassium is why wood ash was valuable enough that early American colonists exported it to Europe by the shipload. In fact, that's where the word potash comes from, ashes soaked in a pot. Potassium was literally named after the process of leaching wood ash. Depending on what you burn, wood ash runs somewhere between 4% and 10% potassium. Hardwoods like oak, maple, and hickory pack more nutrients than softwoods like pine. And they also have a stronger liming effect. So if you're burning oak in a wood stove all winter, you're producing a better product than someone burning pine. What does potassium actually do? It's the nutrient that regulates water movement inside the plant, activates dozens of enzymes, and drives flowering and fruiting. Plants short on potassium look weak, wilt easily, and give you disappointing harvests even when everything else looks fine. Ash also brings about 1 to 2% phosphorus, around 1% magnesium, plus trace amounts of boron, copper, molybdenum, sulfur, and zinc. That's a genuinely broad mineral profile for something you'd otherwise bag up and throw out. Which plants are the biggest winners? Heavy potassium feeders and anything that likes a neutral to slightly alkaline soil. Think roses, lilacs, asparagus, leeks, beets, broccoli, and collards. Master gardeners specifically call out tomatoes, collards, broccoli, roses, and lilacs as plants that respond well to ash. Number 3. Stop blossom end rot on tomatoes and peppers. If you've grown tomatoes, you've probably seen it. The fruit is coming along beautifully, and then the bottom turns into a sunken, leathery black patch. That's blossom end rot, and it drives gardeners crazy every single summer. Blossom end rot is a calcium problem. The plant can't move enough calcium into the developing fruit, and the tissue at the blossom end collapses. Same thing happens to peppers, squash, and watermelons. And what is wood ash mostly made of? Calcium, somewhere between 25% and 50% of it. So when you're planting tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, or squash, working a modest amount of ash into the planting hole helps make sure there's enough calcium in the soil for the plant to pull up. I do want to be straight with you here, because this is where a lot of gardening videos oversell it. Blossom end rot is usually not caused by soil that has zero calcium. It's more often caused by inconsistent watering. The plant can't transport the calcium it already has because the moisture swings wildly. So ash helps if your soil is genuinely calcium poor, but it will not save you if you're letting your tomatoes dry out to a crisp and then drowning them twice a week. Fix your watering first, then add the calcium. Do both, and blossom end rot mostly disappears. Number 4, feed your lawn without buying a thing. Your lawn is the biggest and most forgiving place to put ash, and almost nobody uses it there. Lawns that need lime and potassium, which is a huge percentage of American lawns, especially in rainy regions and anywhere with pine trees, respond well to about 10 to 15 pounds of wood ash per 1,000 square feet per year. That is a maintenance dose. It nudges the pH up and drops potassium in at the same time. There is a bonus here too. Moss loves acidic soil. If you have moss creeping across the shady side of your yard, that is your lawn telling you the pH is low. Raising it with ash makes the ground less hospitable to moss and more hospitable to grass. 2 practical tips. First, sift it. Ash straight from the firebox has chunks of charcoal and nails and staples in it. Run it through a piece of hardware cloth so you are spreading powder, not debris. Second, do it on a still day. Ash is fine, it is light, and one gust of wind will put your entire lawn treatment into your neighbor's face and spread it around. Do not dump your entire winter's worth of ash on one 20-foot patch, year after year. Rotate where it goes. Number 5, sweeten and boost your compost pile. This is the most foolproof way to use ash, and it's my favorite for one reason. The compost pile buffers your mistakes. Compost piles trend acidic as they break down. A light sprinkle of ash between layers of greens and browns neutralizes that drift and keeps the pile in a happier range for the bacteria doing the work. It also cuts down on odor and improves the texture of the finished compost. By the time that compost is ready to go on your beds, the ash isn't a concentrated alkaline slug anymore. It's been mellowed out and blended through the whole batch, and the nutrients are still in there because they didn't wash away in the rain. But there's a hard limit, and this is where people wreck good compost. Iowa State Extension says no more than 5% of the total volume of your pile should be ash. 5%. That's small handfuls, not bucketfuls. Go past that and the pH climbs high enough to harm the microorganisms that make composting work. You'll stall the pile. Some experienced composters also report that heavy ash knocks down their worm counts. So if you're running a worm bin, be even stingier or skip it entirely and put the ash somewhere else. For a hot, actively working pile, roughly once a month is a reasonable rhythm. For a cold pile you rarely turn. Add it with your other materials in spring and summer. Number 6, fall feed your fruit trees and berry canes. Timing is a free upgrade, and fall is the sweet spot for ash. Here's the logic. Ash needs time in contact with soil to react and shift the pH. If you dump it in and plant the same weekend, the reaction is happening while your roots are trying to establish. Put it down in late fall instead, and by the time the ground wakes up in spring, everything has settled and integrated. A lot of homesteaders spread a good dose over their garden beds in late fall, right before mulching for winter. The ash works its way in over the cold months, and the beds come alive in spring, already balanced. For fruit trees, a light broadcast out around the drip line, not piled against the trunk, gives them potassium, heading into the next fruiting season. Apples, pears, plums, and cherries all appreciate it, assuming your soil isn't already alkaline. One important exception you're going to hear again in a few minutes. This does not apply to blueberries. Blueberries are a fruit crop. They're planted right next to everything else, and they will hate you for this. Same story for raspberries. They prefer mildly acidic conditions and are better left out of it. Number 7, build a slug and snail barrier. Slugs are the reason a lot of people give up on hostas, lettuce, and kale. Wood ash makes a physical and chemical barrier they do not want to cross. It is dry, it is gritty, and it is highly alkaline. Slugs and snails move by gliding on a layer of moisture. That is the whole mechanism. Ash absorbs that moisture and pulls water right out of soft-bodied pests. Crawling across it is miserable for them, and if they do it anyway, it can dry them out badly enough to kill them. It works on more than slugs. Cutworms, snails, and soft-bodied insects like aphids all react to it the same way. Some gardeners keep ash in an old Parmesan cheese shaker just for this, and it is genuinely the perfect applicator. Now the honest part, because you need to hear this. The second it gets wet, it stops working. Every single expert source says the same thing. Ash only deters pests while it is dry. One rainstorm, one overhead watering, one heavy dew, and your barrier is now just a smear of mineral in the soil. So this is a dry spell tool. Apply it late in the day, reapply after rain, and treat it as one layer of defense rather than the whole plan. 2 more things. Keep the ash off the leaves and stems because it can irritate plant tissue the same way it irritates slugs. And keep it out of open blooms because bees and other beneficial insects are visiting those flowers and you do not want to dust them. Number 8, dust powdery mildew. You know the look. Late summer and your squash leaves look like somebody dragged a chalky thumb across them. Powdery mildew. Mildew fungus is happiest in a certain range of surface conditions, and a light dusting of highly alkaline ash makes the leaf surface much less pleasant for it. Gardeners who deal with squash mildew every year will tell you they hit it at the very first sign and that it takes the edge off. I'm going to be careful with my claims here because you deserve the truth. This is not a cure. It is not going to reverse a plant that's already 3/4 white. What it does is slow the spread if you catch it early. The people who report the best results are the ones who dust at the first spot, not the ones who wait 2 weeks. Combine it with the actual fixes, better airflow, watering at the base instead of overhead, and pulling infected leaves, and you'll get through the season with a harvest instead of a compost pile. Number 9, give your chickens a dust bath that kills mites. If you keep backyard chickens, this one might be the most valuable trick in the whole video. Chickens dust bathe instinctively. They dig a shallow hole, flop into it, and throw dirt through their feathers. It's not them being weird, it's parasite control. The fine particles work down to the skin and suffocate and abrade mites, lice, and fleas. Wood ash is an outstanding dust bath ingredient because the particles are extremely fine and drying. Poultry keepers use it much the same way they use diatomaceous earth, and plenty of them swear it's better because it's free and always on hand. A popular mix is roughly equal parts wood ash, plain garden dirt, and sand or peat, sometimes with a little diatomaceous earth added. Put it in a shallow tub or an old galvanized bin and keep it somewhere covered so it stays bone dry. Wet ash is useless ash. 2 safety notes. Only use clean hardwood ash, no ash from fire starters, treated lumber, or anything with chemicals in it. And make sure the coop or run has enough ventilation that they're not living in a permanent dust cloud. Fine ash irritates lungs, theirs and yours. Number 10, brew a quick liquid potassium feed. Here's one for when you want to feed something in a container and you don't want to change your soil chemistry permanently. The nutrients in wood ash are water-soluble. That's actually the whole reason ash loses potency when it sits out in the rain. The good stuff leaches away. So instead of letting the weather steal it, you can steal it first. Stir a small amount of sifted ash into a bucket of water. We're talking a modest scoop per gallon, not a shovelful, and let it sit for a day or two. Then pour off the clear liquid on top and use it as a diluted drench around potassium-hungry plants like tomatoes, roses, and fruiting shrubs. 2 warnings, and they matter. First, this liquid is alkaline. It will raise the pH of whatever it touches, so you use it as an occasional feed, not a daily watering routine, and never on acid lovers. Second, do not concentrate it. Hardwood ash steeped hard enough produces yai. That's the actual traditional method for making soap, and people have been doing it for thousands of years. You're not trying to make soap. Keep it weak, keep it diluted, and keep it off your skin. Number 11, store it right, or you've wasted all of it. This is the trick that makes the other 10 work, and it's the one everybody skips. Ash that has been sitting out in the weather, especially in the rain, has lost a lot of its potency. The nutrients leach out. That's not a small effect. The gray pile behind your shed that's been rained on all winter is a shadow of what came out of the stove. So the rule is simple. Get it out of the firebox and into a sealed container, a metal bucket or trash can with a tight lid kept somewhere dry. Excess moisture makes ash cake up into hard clumps that are miserable to spread anyway. While we're here, never ever put ash in a plastic container or a cardboard box straight from the fire. Ash holds live coals for an astonishingly long time. Days in some cases. Fire departments deal with house fires started by cold ashes every single winter. Metal container, metal lid, sitting on a non-combustible surface away from the house. Give it several days before you go anywhere near it with your hands. And one more storage rule that surprises people. Don't just stockpile ashes on bare ground. High concentration sitting in one spot can effectively sterilize the soil underneath and leach into groundwater. That pile isn't neutral. It's a chemical treatment on whatever it's sitting on. And now, never use wood ash on these. Okay, this is the part of the video that matters most, because everything above becomes a problem the second it lands in the wrong place. First, acid-loving plants, all of them. Blueberries are the headline. They need soil in roughly the 4.5 to 5.5 range, which is dramatically more acidic than your average vegetable bed. Raise that pH, and they don't just sulk, they stop being able to absorb nutrients and slowly decline. Same list: azaleas, rhododendrons, camellias, hollies, and raspberries. And if you grow hydrangeas for those blue flowers, know that the blue color depends on acidic soil. Ash will turn your blues pink. Extension services are blunt about this. Do not apply ash to acid-loving plants, even if your soil is acidic. That acidity is the point. Second, potatoes. This one catches people off guard because potatoes are a root crop, and root crops are usually potassium lovers. But potatoes have a specific enemy: potato scab. It's a disease that leaves rough, corky patches all over the skin. It doesn't make them unsafe to eat, but it ruins the texture and the look. And scab gets significantly worse in higher pH soil. Wood ash raises pH, so ash near your potato patch is an open invitation. Multiple extension services say it plainly: don't apply wood ash to a potato patch. Third, seedlings and newly germinated seeds. Ash contains too many salts for tender young plants. Those salts and that high pH will burn delicate new roots. Wait until plants are established before ash goes anywhere near them. Fourth, alkaline soil. Period. If your soil pH is already at or above 7.0, ash is not a fertilizer. It's a mistake. Here's the chemistry. As pH rises past 7.0, nutrients including phosphorus, iron, boron, manganese, copper, zinc, and, yes, even potassium, become chemically bound to the soil and unavailable to plants. Your soil isn't deficient. The plants just can't get at it. You'll see yellowing leaves called chlorosis on trees and vegetables. You will have created a deficiency out of thin air in soil that has plenty. This is why every serious source says the same thing. Get a soil test before you spread ash. Test kits from a garden center or your local cooperative extension office are cheap, and they replace guessing with knowing. Test every 2 or 3 years. Fifth, never mix ash with nitrogen fertilizer. This one is a genuine safety issue, not just a gardening tip. Ammonium-based nitrogen fertilizers, urea, ammonium nitrate, ammonium sulfate, and most synthetic lawn fertilizers react with high pH materials like wood ash. The reaction produces ammonia gas. You lose the nitrogen you just paid for, and you are generating a gas you do not want to breathe. Fresh animal manure counts too. Same ammonium, same reaction. Never combine them in a spreader, never store them together, and separate the applications. Sixth, never use ash from the wrong fire. Only ash from clean, untreated wood belongs in a garden. That means firewood from a stove, a fireplace, or an outdoor fire pit. That's it. Never use ash from pressure-treated lumber, painted or stained wood, plywood pallets, cardboard, glossy paper, charcoal briquettes, or garbage. Those ashes can carry heavy metals and toxic residues straight into the soil you grow food in. There is no amount that is fine. Just don't. And finally, protect yourself. Wood ash is caustic. Its pH runs between roughly 10 and 12, which is in the same neighborhood as household cleaners. If you handle it bare-handed, you will notice your skin dries out and gets irritated, and it does the same thing to your lungs. Wear gloves, wear a dust mask, never spread on a windy day, and keep it away from your eyes. So there it is. That bucket of gray dust in your fireplace is free lime, free potassium, and free calcium. As long as it is clean wood ash, your soil test says you need it, and you keep it far away from blueberries and potatoes. Test first, go light, and store it dry. What do you do with your ashes? Drop a comment and let us know. Thanks for watching. If this was useful, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video.